right here at 12th and Claremont. This is the beginning of the 1967 rebellion. So as they're arresting these people and they're bringing them out and putting them in squad cars, there's a crowd out here, and of course the crowd is becoming resistant to the actions of the police officers, and they're asking the people who are being arrested, what's going on up there, what happened? And of course some of the people who are being arrested are making claims that they were brutalized, they were hit, the police were violent, and so as the crowd grows, the members of the crowd begin to question whether or not they're going to let these police officers arrest all of these people. By the time they're trying to get all these 82 people out into squad cars, it's about 200 people out here. And the two leaders are Michael Lewis, who the police identified by what he's wearing, and they name him Green Sleeves. He's kind of the more vocal of the two radicals. And then the other is Bill Scott's son, Walter Scott. And Walter Scott, who said a couple of things, is arming himself with bricks. And when they get ready to grab or apprehend Michael Lewis, because they feel like if they get him, they can shut down this potential riot, they get ready to grab Michael Lewis. One of the police officers is hit with a brick that is, by all oral reports, was thrown by Walter Scott. And when that officer is hit with that brick, he sees stars. He tells his officers, let's get in the car, let's get out of here, let's retreat. And of course, when the police return with more reinforcements, well, the community has come back with more reinforcements. Fires, of course, began the afternoon of July 23rd. And the police are unable to fully respond and put it down in time. And of course, it lasts for 5 more days. This grotto has this monument, this statue of Jesus, and of course he was white at that time. And people who are involved in the rebellion have issues with these white representations of the divine, particularly of Jesus. And there's a painter, a house painter. That's what he does. He does odd jobs, including house painting in this neighborhood. His name is Joe Nelson. And he comes here that night and paints that Jesus black. Of course, the next morning, the seminary comes back out and repaints him back white. And then later on that night, when the rebellion takes over again at nighttime, it's painted back black again by Joe Nelson. He returns and paints it black. And then the next morning, they repaint it white. And then after that, someone else in the community paints it black. And from that point forward, the church has kept it black, and they do it as a representation of their commitment to this community. But at that time, this was a black power statement. So Joe Nelson was the person who painted this the first 2 nights, and I always like to tell that story because Joe Nelson is my cousin. So, but he painted this Jesus black. But at that time, in 1967, this was a revolutionary representation to depict Jesus as black at the Sacred Heart Major Seminary, a Catholic institution in this part of the city of Detroit, was a major endeavor. And this changed a lot of people's way of identifying with Jesus.